Welcome, dear wanderer, to Collide Europe, a travels channel where cities aren't just visited, but felt, where time isn't linear, but layered, and cities are not points on a map, but living mosaics of light, shadow, and soul. Here journey whispers the history, sings the present, and hush of nature, transformed into view. Today, we explore Berlin, a city folded in memories where past and present walk arm in arm down every street. Our voyage begins at Berlin Hauptbahnhof, the central station, not merely a train station, but a glass and steel mander. Here, trains swivel like a cuckoo clock across multi-level tracks, carrying souls from every corner of Europe into the vibes of Germany's capital. Everyone is running to catch a train to meet the loved one's girl, friend, wife, and client in the office. It is the perfect place to begin, because like Berlin itself, this station is a crossroads. Of time, of stories, of people finding their way. Step outside the rush of the station and let the city exhale. The Spree River awaits, a silver ribbon winding through Berlin's heart, reflecting both clouds and memory. Full of wars, here the pulse slows. The water carries whispers from centuries past. Merchant boats, royal barges, the silence of a divided city, and now, laughter from riverboats and the quiet click of cyclists cruising by. Berlin reveals herself in fragments. The soft sway of trees over the water, bridges like arms stretching between histories, and buildings that were both modern glass and Prussian stone. Street musicians tune their strings beneath arches, and cafes spill onto cobblestones with the smell of coffee and warm pastry. Raise your head, and you will have glimpsed the domes of power and the spires of culture. The Bundestag rises ahead, and it is the voice of a nation, and the home of Germany's federal parliament, where democracy speaks the grandeur of Germany. Glass is everywhere, here walls that let in light, that refuse secrecy. You can stand outside and see within a literal window into government. It speaks of a country that once knew division too well, and now holds transparency as sacred. It is not just a building. It is a symbol that nations can rise, rebuild, and reflect. And then, towering in neoclassical style, stands the Reichstag, once scarred by flames and war, now reborn with a crown of glass. It is a building that has seen the rise of empires, the fall of walls, the weight of silence, and the roar of reunification. Its stone facade still bears the marks of time, bullet-pitted and time-worn, but its message is one of resilience. Memories not just live in museums, but in the graves written on stones and scattered throughout the cities. Soviet monuments, remnants of bunkers, silent courtyards where resistance once whispered. Berlin does not hide its wounds, it wears them openly, so that we do not forget that war is bad, it is worse than anything. In the center of the city, where steel and glass pulse with modern rhythm, Tiergarten opens like a deep breath of green trees, where Berlin exhales its tension into birdsong and wind. Once a royal hunting ground, Tiergarten now belongs to everyone. Cyclists gliding beneath oak canopies, lovers drifting hand in hand, and poets scribbling verses on benches warmed by sun. Here, history sleeps beneath the leaves. Wander long enough, and you'll find more than nature. Statues rise from the undergrowth, forgotten generals, philosophers, composers. The Victory Column, crowned with golden Victoria, pierces the sky from the park's heart, her wings stretched toward peace, her eyes fixed on eternity. Near the edges, you'll stumble upon memory, the Soviet War Memorial, solemn in stone. And just beyond the trees, the city stirs again. But within Tiergarten, time lingers. It is Berlin's soul in leaf and light, untamed, alive, and always becoming. Writing about Berlin Wall or Checkpoint Charlie are beyond my imagination. I have little lifespan, but story about Berlin and Europe is too big. Just think you're living there where wisest lived. Not all walls giggle, but some are wailing walls. Berlin Wall is one of them. Along quiet streets and forgotten corners, the Berlin Wall still exists not in towering slabs or defiant murals, but in slender, worn remains. A beeline of concrete that once carved a brutal wound through the city now runs like a shadow straight, cold, and unnervingly narrow. Here, the wall is more than a relic, it is a scar. A quiet line where lives were divided overnight. Families separated. Streets severed. Futures rewritten. Look down, and you may find the double brick line inlaid along the pavement, tracing where the wall once stood, cutting through sidewalks, courtyards, even buildings. An invisible wound Berlin wears openly. These remnants don't cry out. They linger, so you'll listen closer. The topography of terror, where the air feels strangely still and the stones seem to remember, lies the topography of terror, the site of the former Gestapo and SS headquarters. This is not a museum in the traditional sense. It is a reckoning. Here, beneath open sky and bare concrete walls, history is laid bare. Not glorified, not diluted. Photographs, documents, and personal testimonies line the walls, recounting the machinery of terror that operated from this very ground. Disappearances, interrogations, the slow, methodical tightening of fear. Beneath your feet, fragments of the basement cells where screams once echoed. Around you, panels telling stories not of heroes, but of systems, of how silence became complicity, of how law became cruelty. The Berlin Wall once ran along this edge too, as if division was destined to return where oppression once ruled. But now this space is open, raw, and unflinching, a place that doesn't offer comfort, only truth.